Hello, and welcome to this very first video of this channel, The Single Autistic Dad. My name's Matt, and I am the Single Autistic Dad. As the name implies, I'm single as of fairly recently. I am recently diagnosed autistic and ADHD, and I'm a dad to two boys and a cat. So, the reason this channel exists is massively because of ADHD. If any of you have ADHD, you'll know all about it, where you get an idea in your head, something creative perhaps, and you'll just run with it. In fact, sprint with it, which is what's happened here. So, in my day job, I'm a web developer and app developer, and occasionally have to create videos. So, up until now, I would just use my mobile phone and separate microphone plugged into a different device, and I'd have to sync the video with the audio, which I decided was a bit of faffing around. So what I'd do is get these microphones that I've got here, and they kind of have a receiver that plugs directly into the video capture, and the video source receives what's going through this mic, and it saves me having to sync everything up. So I thought, that sounds great. I'm going to buy one of these mics. Then found out it actually came with two mics. So the first thing I did was got onto the AI and said, why is there two mics in this pack? Is it for stereo sound or something? Better microphone capture? And no, the answer was, if you're doing a podcast and you want to have a guest on, then the guest can have a microphone. So it just comes with two. So then I thought, podcast, that's a good idea. So straight away I called my sister and said, look, let's start a podcast. And that's what we're going to do. So naturally, I've decided to start another podcast or / YouTube channel, which is what you're now watching. So an accidental purchase of an extra mic has turned into not one, but two podcast / YouTube channels. So here we are. This is the first video. It's more of a like, hello, this is me video, just to get the ball rolling. So I'll give you a quick brief history about myself. Met my now ex-partner when I was 16, she was 15. We kind of stuck together ever since. I'm now 41. And in the last sort of year and a half, we decided we would separate. And this year we filed for our divorce. Following that, I decided I would take more seriously this, what felt like an accusation that I was ADHD. Previously, I'd completely shunned the idea. I thought there's no way I could be ADHD. I'm very chilled and calm on the surface level. And after separating, I suddenly realized I'm probably better off at least finding out more about it. Because I kind of said, there's no way I could be ADHD without actually knowing anything about ADHD and how it presents. So having done that, I quickly realized there's no way I'm not. Went for the assessments, got the diagnosis. And in that process, which, takes a while, various people around me had suggested that I might also be autistic, to which I also replied, don't be stupid. There's no way I'm autistic, without knowing anything about autism and how it presents in people. And it was when I think probably 4 different people agreed that they thought I could be, one of which was a lifelong childhood friend. When I said to him, oh, you're ADHD, I just got a diagnosis of ADHD. He said to me, oh, I'm surprised you're ADHD. I always thought you were autistic. And I said, really? Why didn't you say something? And he said, I did. You told me to F off once. So I probably thought he was, taking the piss a bit. But anyway, so it was my sister looking into it for herself, recognized it in me and said she thought I was. And I said, no, don't be silly. But then my friend also said the same. Following my breakup of the marriage, I did see a counsellor to help get my head around things. And at that point, I was certain I was definitely ADHD. So I sought out a counsellor who specialised in neurodivergence, mentioned to her that people around me said I might be autistic as well. And she somewhat agreed, although she wasn't diagnosing. She just said, you should go for the assessment. So I did. And then about a year-long process, I got diagnosed. So The ADHD diagnosis came in December last year, 2025, and the autism assessment and diagnosis, rather, came in March 2026. So we're April now, and here I am doing this podcast. So multiple reasons for the podcast. One is that during my assessments, knowing nothing about ADHD or autism or anything like that, I took to YouTube to get some more insight and information, and it was people's real life experience shared over their YouTube content that was such a help to me in understanding, well, yeah, I am this, I am that. I'm very anxious at unexpected knocks at the door and stuff like that. That's why I struggle with eye contact. A million different things that I just didn't even attribute to anything, but just did experience these various struggles. And it was, all this YouTube content from other people that really helped me. So I thought, why not add to that with my own experience, because it might help someone else. And even if it doesn't, just talking out loud over a microphone rather than keeping thoughts rattling around in there, clogging up space, is only a good thing, I think. So here I am launching this channel with this video, which I'm going to try and keep very short. So I'm going to wrap it up in a minute. But I'll just quickly say what I hope to cover in the future. So I think maybe my next video will be a little bit of background history, pre-diagnosis and life up to getting diagnosed, what things have been like. Even if I didn't recognize it at the time, I now recognize what things were like. I'll cover that. Maybe the assessment process in another video, and then following that, post-diagnosis and stuff. Beyond that, once I've got the life stuff out of the way, I imagine what I'll do is just post random little videos about stuff going on in my life. Whether anyone cares, I don't know, but it'll be interesting to do. I mean, just as an example of the kind of thing I might post about, I recently went out with someone to a comedy club, and during the comedy club, I said to them, I've always fancied the idea of being up on stage doing comedy, because as a kid, I always thought I wanted to be an actor, which is strange because I'm so worried about perception of myself. So quite why I thought that was a good idea. I always fancied doing it. And even now I think, it would be good. But anyway, so I was watching this stand-up comedy and thought, I've always thought, quite like to go up there doing that, because I feel like I can tell a story with a lot of expression and hopefully interest. And I quite like the idea of doing it. And they were really supportive of the idea and said, you can do a workshop and they'll teach you how to plan your bit, which only has to last, a minute or two or something. And they'll get you to the point of refining it and then performing it on stage. And I thought, that does sound like massively terrifying, the idea of getting up on a stage. But I love the idea of having that experience. So I might actually go for that. Give it a shot, because you never know what could come from that. If nothing else, it will just be a fun process. So yeah, future videos might cover that process and how that feels going through that. Probably lots of videos about symptoms of ADHD and autism and how that affects me in my day-to-day life, because it's that kind of content that's really been so helpful to me. And just on that note, my top YouTube channels that I've subscribed to and just devoured all their content is Chris and Debbie from Autistic. So if you're thinking you might be autistic or both autistic and ADHD, highly suggest checking Chris and Debbie from Autistic channel out there. They're absolutely excellent. Short videos, really insightful, funny, and leaves you going, oh, I thought everyone did that a lot. It turns out, no, not everyone does that kind of thing that they cover. Just typically people who are autistic or ADHD or ADHD, as the unofficial term tends to be. So what else? Yeah, Meg from I'm Autistic Now What channel. She's been quite insightful. And there's a couple more I'm sure I'm forgetting, but perhaps in a future video, once I've remembered, I will notify you about who those people are that you should check out. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up here. Welcome to the channel. I'm not going to say smash that like and subscribe button. I hate it when people do that. But if you want to hear more from me or see more from me, just hit the subscribe button. Don't smash it. Just give it a little tap. Yeah, catch you on the next video.